What I'd like to do now is a quick little recap on the library module. On the left-hand side, we have our navigator panel, we have our catalogs panel, we have our folder panel, we have collections that we just went through, and then we have published services, which I will talk about in a later video. Let's just collapse these guys so they're not in our way here. There we go. On the right-hand side, we have our histogram, and below the histogram, we can see information about the camera and the shutter speed, lens opening, focal length, all that kind of stuff sitting there. Directly underneath that is something called Quick Develop. The Quick Develop deals with applying adjustments, as it says quickly, when you're in the library module. So if you have a whole bunch of images that you notice need to have some kind of an adjustment, such as exposure, they're all underexposed or they're all overexposed or whatever it is, you can quickly come in and play with these guys, and you have the single arrow and then the double arrow. So if I hold my cursor over this single arrow, you can see that it represents an exposure increase of 1/3 of a stop. If I come over here, it's one complete stop. All right, clarity. Clarity comes in here and increase the clarity, and it just says increase clarity. So it's a certain amount here, and it's obviously greater there. Same thing with vibrance, all these different things. And if I was to, come over here and take a look at all the different options that are available to us in the tone control, white balance, and all that kind of stuff, we can see that we can make these adjustments in the library module. But there's no point in talking about those adjustments until we hit the develop module. And then you understand what's going on and what the different options are available to you with respects to these guys and how they would affect change. We'll come back to this a little bit later on. But notice also that if you have a select bunch of images and you want to apply a preset, you can come over here and click on this guy here, and you can see that you have default settings. These are the presets that we saw at the apply during import option. And then you can see here are my Torsler ones, and then here's the user presets that are something. So all these are familiar and all that kind of stuff to you. If you find that your images need something along those lines, you can come in here, click on this, come over and do something. As you can see in my set of presets here, I've got 21 right now, actually 22, because 00 is a total reset. But I can come in here and I can, minus out some of the yellows if I need to, or I can increase the vibrancy in the skies and make the grass greener, all that kind of stuff. So I've got a whole variety of presets. We'll talk about those in another video. So then we come over here, we have our keywords, and you notice that with the image I have selected, here are my keywords. These are all part of that copy paste thing that I did. Let's come down to keyword suggestions, and I don't have enough images in my catalog for the software to come up with some suggestions, but as we move through other projects, maybe we can revisit this and you'll see how that works. And yes, we will come back and see how all of this works. All right, I'm just going to collapse that. Keyword suggestions. Now we're into the keyword sets, and by default, Lightroom ships with a number of keyword sets. I've chosen outdoor photography, but we also have portrait photography, and we also have wedding photography. I think those are the 3 presets. I came in and included one for real estate, but also for my Canadian Junior Football League stuff, I have one, and another one for my ECHL. Now I've got them by year here, but for the most part, those keywords are probably, if I go into ECHL just to see what I've gone and created, we can see now we have Powerade Center, we have Brampton Beast, we have Kalamazoo Wings, we have Wheeling Nailers. So I've got all the different teams that the Brampton hockey team would play against. I have those as keywords. So if I have an image selected, I can come over here and click on Powerade Center, and that would be applied to that. Now we have something like a keyword list, and we've got some categories as well, people, other, all this kind of stuff, and it's just telling me how many images have how many images have how many keywords and all that stuff. Metadata, we've been through this, and whatever it is that we see being displayed here, we can actually come over here and change that, so we can just see all plugin metadata, all EXIF, EXIF and IPTC, just the IPTC. IPTC stands for International Press and Telecommunications Council, and you can come in and choose whatever that you want to have showing. Most people I know just leave it at the default and move on. From that, we can move on to the develop module. And develop module, just come in here, have an image selected, click on the develop module, and we are in there. If I go back over to the library module, we're there. If I wanted to see this image in full screen mode but not leave the library, then I guess I could just hit the space bar. And now I have a zoom tool that allows me to zoom in on this seagull. And if I want to go back, I just hit the grid view, or the G for grid view, and then I can come over and click on this guy, hit the space bar to zoom in, and hit the G to go back to grid. I can subsequently hit the E key as opposed to just hitting the space bar, and maybe it makes more sense to use the E key because E key stands for evaluate. So I can evaluate and then go back into grid mode. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next video.